She's not merely one of the pioneers, she is the pioneer.
She's a legend in the Washington, D.C. area because she's a dynamo. She knows everyone. She makes her presence felt. She has connections to every business, every leader, and they all know who she is.
First and foremost, an icon not only in her industry, but in the business community, among women who she supported, among organizations she's generously given to. She's been a friend to many people.
Alex is the one who has established so much of the strength of this industry. She is a vocal supporter of it, and it has reverberated throughout the country.
You say you're with Alex Armstrong's firm and people literally just stop and want to talk to you or shake your hand or ask, how she's been. She's known everywhere. It's just amazing.
When people call me an icon, I'm embarrassed. I sort of look behind me to see who they're talking about.
My father would wake up at like 7 in the morning saying, "Where's the newspaper? Where's the newspaper? Is Alex here again? Is Alex here again?" Because she'd get up in the morning and go get the newspaper to read the finance section. And she was only about 14 or 15.
When I got my CFP designation, which was in 1977, there were very few women in the field. But I was very used to being the only woman in the room or one of the two women in the room. Certain men were very adoptive of me, who actually sort of took me under their wing and tried to help me. I found that those men usually had a strong woman in their background, either their mother, their sister, or whatever, and they respected somebody who was trying to do something different. So it didn't occur to me that I couldn't succeed as a financial planner or as an advisor. It was my choice whether I decided to follow in their footsteps. Both these women made their careers by speaking. They gave seminars, they taught people about financial planning, about investments. And that was an easy way for us to get clients. And it worked quite well. So both of these women were an inspiration. The other thing was both of them had a husband they liked. They had children they loved. So it wasn't this, I'm going to do everything when I have to choose between a family and a career. They were able to blend it. They were attractive, they were well dressed. So I was very fortunate to have good role models early in my career.
I was 19, had 3 stacks of mutual fund statements when I started, and that was alphabetizing those was all I was supposed to do. No direction, just alphabetize these statements. She was everything here. I mean, everybody said, whatever Alex wants, Alex gets. But it didn't really matter. She was not elevated in a way. She'd walk into the copy room, ask me to slide aside and make copies herself. She never wanted us to do anything for her. I'd walk into the kitchen and find her on her knees, scrubbing the bottom of the kitchen, or scrubbing the bottom of the refrigerator. You'd ask her, Alex, let me do that. That's what I'm here for. And she said, no, I have it. I got it. She was just an amazing example to walk into as a 19-year-old, having never worked in an office. But she was also someone who was able to show me how everything was done. It's pretty cool.
She's very caring. She's very protective of her office and all the people that work here. And I think we're the same way with her. And one time we were at a conference and there was a woman ahead of us loading onto a bus, and I overheard her say that Alex was probably at the end of her time. And this was more than 20 years ago. And I almost launched over the other people. But she's very caring, and you in turn want to take care of her and protect her and do things for her, then you go the extra mile.
So I've been at the firm for almost 25 years now, and have had a chance to grow up. I found a profession. I met my wife here. I found a life through Alex. So I've learned not just professionally, but I've also been able to learn personally from her.
Again, her mentorship to me was motivational first, because again, in order to reach a person, you have to teach. In order to teach them, you got to reach them. And she was able to reach me and sort of open my eyes as to what could happen in financial planning, and not just financial planning or how to prepare a plan, but what it means to have financial planning as for a career. You're helping so many other people.
Well, I think mentorship is a multifaceted kind of relationship. It involves being a role model and setting the right example, but it also involves taking the time one-on-one with people and understanding the issues that people face in their careers. And she's been both, and it's caused me in turn to want to do that for other young women that I encounter in my career. I have several that work for me, and I try to think about what Alex would do in situations and apply that same sense of trying to help others grow that she has given to me over the years.
Alex has always been a mentor for me, teaching me on what it means to enter the workforce at a very young age and what it means to be a true fiduciary.
We'd go to meetings and people would come over and say, you know, you're the reason I'm in this business. You came to speak in Ohio or Arizona or Florida or whatever, she was converting people to financial planning. She's responsible for the growth of the industry, I think.
It gave me the national scope rather than just looking at it from Washington, D.C. Though Washington, D.C. is a pretty good place to look at it from. But I looked at the international implications. And so it was very exciting. The reason I wrote it was twofold. One, my mom was a widow. She was widowed when she was 48 and I was 8, and we had to make our own with not a lot of money. Not a lot of money at all. And so I, from an early age, from an early age, I knew the problems that a widow would encounter. Later in my career, when I was working with widows, I found that the advice was going in one ear and out the other. And so I thought if I could give them something they could read a chapter at a time as they went through this healing process after they were widowed, that would be good. So my co-author was a psychologist, but also a client and a friend and a widow herself. So she brought that empathy to it. So I was inspired to write the book because I thought it really would help widows. And we're in our 5th edition, and they say it's still helping them.
One of the things I respect the very most about Alex is that when she did well, she decided to also do good. And that theory of doing good and doing well not being mutually incompatible has taught a lot of women how to be generous with the resources that they've accumulated. So Alex raises money for lots of good organizations. She encourages her friends, her female friends, to do that, and her male friends, and then now we have resources and we are raising money, and she always gives generously when asked.
It's hard to let go of this career in that it's mentally challenging and it's very rewarding. People keep saying, thank you for what you've done for me, so it's hard to let go. But I realized I didn't know how much more time I was going to have with him, and I wanted to have that. So I have prioritize things differently. And fortunately, I have a wonderful firm and wonderful people to be able to hand the business over to. And so we're spending more time in Florida. And I've got to admit, I like the warm weather much better than the cold. Well, as I look towards the future, one is to make sure all my clients have been taken care of. I've already moved a large percentage of my clients to my partners, and over the next year we'll move the rest, though that will be difficult to do. I actually am looking at writing another book with my co-author about retirement. There's a lot written about getting ready for retirement, but they don't talk about the 10 years after you retire. So we've already started on that project. That's one thing I intend to do. Another thing is I will spend more time with the Foundation for Financial Planning, raising money, working with them in terms, because sometimes because of work, haven't had the time I wanted to devote to go visit a donor or do something there, so I intend to be active there. And then I hope to really enjoy life in Sarasota. It's a wonderful, thriving community. And I'm sure that I've been told there are a lot of charities down there that are looking for volunteers too. So I don't think I will be bored.
Alex is my Good Samaritan.
Alex is dedicated.
Alex is generous.
Alex is bigger than life and twice as good.
Alex is adventurous and a lot of fun.
Alex is dedicated to doing good.
Alex is a pistol.
Alex is unparalleled.